Hey everybody. Um, just wanted to say thank you for being part of our investment group, and we really just want to get on here. We want to start engaging more with our investors, and please, let us know what you want to learn. And today we feel this is an important topic, Tay and I, and this is actually a topic that really Tay has tremendous strength and due to his background as having a certification as a chartered financial analyst and a CPA. And I'll let Tay shine here. And what we're going to be talking about, as you see on our screen, is IRR, equity multiple, and net present value. And Tay's going to demonstrate he's really going to try to keep it simple of how, depending upon, there's different scenarios and how these numbers could be manipulated, and just really how you cannot just focus on looking at the IRR or just focus on equity multiple or NPV. You really need to dive deep and understand what's going on with the numbers. And these are like IRR is a very complicated formula, but let Tay explain this to you, and he's going to explain it, and he's going to explain it really in a simple matter for you to understand. And by all means, if you have any questions, please let us know in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer. But Tay, take it away.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Adam. Oh yeah, hi everyone, LCM investors. So it's really great to get connected with you again. So as a kind of first series of our learning kind of experience, we picked out these two kind of mostly widely used metrics to calculate the investment return in real estate. So IRR and equity multiple. So we have some like example to walk you through what they are and what you need to look for when we actually look at IRR and equity multiple. So we have investment 1 and investment 2 here. So we have like a 5-year horizon, holding period, and we invested like 1 million, and then we have a different cash distribution, like a 200 in year 1 and 100 all the way, and at the end we got our equity back. And investment 2 is everything is pretty much the same, but there's a 200,000 cash distribution kind of swap between year 1 and year 4. So that'll be really the only difference to bring home the point. I mean, difference between the two. So in IRR, is basically the measures the percentage rate like earned on each dollar investing for each investment period. So in the old day, it was very difficult to calculate, but now with the advent of all the technology calculation and then Excel, it's quite easy to calculate here. So we just like use IRR and then arrive at the 10.82%. So this means like this actually like a discount rate that makes the NPV, net present value, of all the cash distribution to 0. So what I mean is that the NPV is related to time value of money. So the dollar today is worth more than dollar tomorrow. So that as you can see here, got NPV. Seems pretty complicated, but just wanted to let you see that this is actually IRR. If you use this discount rate, NPV is a 0. And then equity multiple is really measured all cash return to the investor over the entire holding period. So the way to get there is really the entire cash distribution we receive divided by the initial equity investment. So this one is 1.5. And as you can see, this one also at 1.5 because all the number wise are the same. But the timing of receiving this one, this 200,000 is different. So because of a time value of money embedded in this IRR, as I said before, so dollar or earlier period is worth than in the later period. So that's why this one IRR is slightly higher than IRR for investment two, even though the total amount we receive is the same. And in this case, it's clear that, okay, equity multiple is the same, so IRR is higher in investment one. So it's very easy decision to make. So investment one is the way to go. But then IRRs can be relied upon in isolation. Actually, the answer is no. And I like to take you to the kind of second set of example here. So in this example, everything is pretty much the same, but I put the year one number and then year four number in investment four. So in this case, we have I got a big number coming in soon. So it's IR is a 15%. This one is nearly 14% because the initial cash distribution is smaller than this one. But we cannot really like go off of the IRR to go with this investment one, because if you look at equity multiple, actually investment two is higher because toward the end of the investment holding period, we get a bigger paycheck coming in. So in this case, we cannot really conclude that either IRR or equity multiple is better than the other. Then in this case, what should we really select? It's really up to individual investment philosophy. So let's take a look at this one. Like, is the cash coming in earlier? Right? In this case, if the cash really coming in with certainty like early on, then it may be more attractive to investor, right? Because you can get this cash and maybe invest in somewhere else to get a better return or stuff like that. But the investment too, you have like a better, like a higher, if you really go for the bigger amount, then it could be attractive, but a little bit like uncertain because the bigger paycheck is coming in the later period. So it depending on like what your preference is. And that's why it's important to like look at IR and equity multiple both. So it's really, there's no black and white answer to really go with the specific investment. But the thing is that it's really imperative to take both of them in perspective when you make an investment decision. And one of the issues with IRR is this one, it can be subject to manipulation of the investment because, for example, if they actually defer some of the necessary repair costs in the beginning, and then we have a bigger cash flow coming in, it may boost artificially the IRR, but it may not reflect the true economics of the investment. So that's some of the things to look out for when you look at IRR. And equity multiple, it doesn't really take into consideration the time value of money. It does show the total cash received divided by the initial investment. So it really considers like a total holding period. And IRR takes into consideration the time value of money and also shows the each period. That's why they're perfectly complementary to each other. So the bottom line is, yeah, it's very highly recommended. You're familiar with the both metrics and analyze these two metrics at the same time. Thank you.
Hey, that was excellent. So,
oh man,
yeah,
it's
so
really longer than I expected, but
yeah. So a few things I wanted to mention. Don't worry about it, Tay. You're great. And this is really simple. We really wanted to break it down for you. So one thing I think one thing that was very interesting that you brought up was really opportunity cost, because in example one right here versus example two was year one, you're having more principal returned in year one, which your IRR is greater than example two because the bulk of your principal is returned in year 4 and 5. And that's why you have a small it's a slight decrease in IRR with a higher equity multiple. But now what's really interesting is risk, right? So this is where you want to come into risk reward, right? So for me, you know, if we're coming to where we think we're getting to the last innings of a cycle, like the peak of a cycle, kind of like where we were pre-COVID, I may be more inclined to go with investment one because the risk
Right.
is
Yeah.
less because I'm getting
Right.
majority of my investment back
Yeah.
in year
Exactly. Yeah.
one than have to
Yeah.
wait 5 years where to predict where there's we don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. We're expecting things to happen this way, but as you know, what we expect and what the reality is, no one really has a crystal ball. We could just go based upon, but we use logic of cycles. That's why we could talk about a whole nother topic of studying cycles of markets and this and that to give us a guidance. So what's really interesting about private equity real estate that I really like, and I'll leave off with this, is that it's it's easier to predict than other asset classes. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. Right. Yeah.
It's a lot easier to predict. But that being said, you know, I think this is a very strong, very good example of how to use it. And then what we could do is we could take this a step further later on and show in our examples of the actual model for Fund 3 for our investors. And Fund 2 and so forth. We can kind of show you how it's working, you know, but we don't want to keep this dragged on. We would just want to give you a short preview. Please, if you have any questions or if you have any, you know, the good, the bad, the indifferent, let us know. Because the whole idea for us is to really add value. We really want to help you. And we really just want to just thank you for really being part of this and believing in us. And I want to thank Daniel and Ben Aller and Gaurav with the opportunity to really be able to invest with them and for them to really help Levine Capital and Tay and myself really build out this platform. This is a tremendous opportunity and just very fortunate that we're able to be part of this at this time. You know, it's just the perfect timing right now that we're in this. And that's it. You know, it's Saturday. You know, we love what we do. So to me, this isn't really work. I could talk about this all day long. I love this stuff. I love helping and that's it. You know, it's a beautiful day. I really hope everybody enjoys your weekend. I hope everybody is safe. And hey, thanks so much. I really.
Yeah. My pleasure. Yeah.
You're great.
Yeah.
You know. So, all right. So that's it, and look forward to look forward to seeing you guys later. And one more quick thing I wanted to announce was we're having Mike Faris, who's a project manager for TCS. He's going to be talking about construction management, you know, which is, to me, that's not my specialty, and I'm still learning that myself. The numbers I understand a lot better than construction. I understand construction a little bit, but that's a whole other skill set that I'm actually very interested in learning more about. I have a background on it a little bit, but there's a lot of moving parts to that. And I'm really excited to have an expert such as Mike on here to be our special guest. I'm speaking with him on Monday coming up, and we're going to have him give our next mastermind number 2 meeting. So everybody, thanks again, and look forward to our next mastermind meeting with Mike Faris. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.